In this lesson, I'm going to talk about diminished chords. Now, what's a diminished chord? I'll just play it for you and see if you recognize it. That's a diminished chord. It is a very strong effect, and it's a very important part of any kind of music. We always see diminished chords. So let's see how that chord's made. First, we'll take our major chord, C major chord, and remember to make a minor chord, we lower this middle note down a half a step. Now, half a step is the nearest place you can go to from whatever note you're on. This is like a measurement in music, like a centimeter or a millimeter or an inch or a foot. It's the measurement we use in music. And on the keyboard, it means to go down to the nearest note you can go to, or up to the nearest note you can go to. We're going up a half step or down a half step. That's how we got to our minor chord from the major. We went down a half step with the middle note. Now what we do to make our diminished is go down a half step from the top note. And there's our three-note diminished chord. The diminished chord is three half steps every time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to go one more time. Let's put a fourth note on this diminished chord. 1, 2, 3. Looks like this. So every note is three half steps from the note it just came from. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And if we keep going up, 1, 2, 3, we're back where we started. It duplicates this note. And if we continue up, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on, we keep going up. Might be a familiar sound to you. You can hear that sort of thing in classical music. Well, we use the diminished chord in all types of music, but there you can kind of get a classical feel for it. A very strong audio image, we would say. The sound image of a diminished chord is easy to recognize. It's a really potent chord on the ears. So what we have here is a chord that's built equidistant steps in every part of the chord. So every note is the same distance from the note that precedes it or follows it. So we could just keep going on down, and there would always be the sound of a diminished chord. Now, what's interesting about this chord, I like to call it like the joker in a deck of cards. The chord has 4 different names. This is like a chameleon. It has 4 different identities. What I mean by that is you can see this as a C diminished chord, but it also is an E flat diminished chord. If we take this note and invert it up here, now we're looking at an E flat diminished chord. And let's invert this bottom note to the top. Now we have an F sharp or a G flat diminished chord. And one more time, now we have an A diminished chord. So A diminished, F sharp, E flat, and C diminished. We have 4 chords in one out of this one hand position. Now you don't have to even move the chord to change the identity. You can just call this an E flat diminished, or G flat diminished, or an A diminished. Let's go up a half step and make 4 more diminished chords from here. We're going to start with a C sharp and go up 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3. Now we've got 4 more diminished chords. C sharp diminished, E diminished, G diminished, B flat diminished. And I can rotate them up, E diminished, G diminished. We've got 8 chords now. Let's go up a half step and find the last 4. D, go up a step and a half. 1, 2, 3. Well, step and a half, 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we've got another 4 diminished chords. D diminished, F diminished, A flat diminished or G sharp, B diminished. It's a very interesting chord. It's a very potent sound image, and you can have a lot of fun with it. You can, once you get used to it, you can have fun with. Very fun. You can use it at Halloween. A lot of fun. Or just to scare the kids in the neighborhood. It's like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons. They use this sort of thing a lot. Or in the old silent movies to get a real dramatic effect. Can't hide the drama in it. Okay, so there is our diminished chord, and I hope you can have a good time exploring it and maybe have some fun with it.